This is Derek Lunsford, and no, you did not stumble on the wrong video. We are building to something, building to the ultimate bodybuilder. Derek, he is your 2025 Mr. Olympia champion. He was the best bodybuilder that night at the Olympia, so he must have the best arms. Well, not really, actually, now that I think about it. Does he have the best chest? Well, no, not really. Nor does he have the best wheels. He probably has the best back, though, and glutes. One of the best backs, anyway. But having said that, who does have the best arms, the best chest, things of that nature? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out today. In a collage of body parts, the very best of all the body parts, we are going to combine them all and make the ultimate bodybuilder. And apparently we're beginning with a front double biceps pose. Have a look, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? Now, first and foremost, I selected the face of one Urs Kalasinski. I asked my wife, who is the handsomest one of all? So, you got picked, Urs. There you go. But anyway, a little bit jealous. Myself, I have to say. Now, for the arms, we have selected none other than Nick Walker, as if you guys didn't know. I think a lot of these muscle groups are going to be easy as soon as you see them, but some of them are going to be a little bit trickier to actually guess who they belong to or who belongs to them, whatever it would be. The lats, I actually went with Behrouz Tabani. Now, this might be a little bit debatable here. Does he have the best lats? I think his V-taper was just a little bit better than the actual owner of the torso heap, which is Hadi Choopan. Well, not exactly the torso heap, but the midsection is Hadi Choopan's. That, combined with Behrouz Tabani's lats, I think it makes it a little bit better of a V-taper. And I know Hadi Choopan's lats, they're good on their own, but I feel that Behrouz was a little bit lower in the attachments. So here is the owner of the chest. Who guessed the chest? Anybody know that it was Andrew Jack's chest? In this actual pose, he has a nice big thick set of pecs. And you don't necessarily need to see a lot of striations in the chest during a front double biceps pose. Focus mainly on the chest. Now the wheels. Who guessed this one? This is, of course, good Vito, Vitaly Ugolnikov, and this young buck, he has some incredible wheels. So this is a heads up for these guys, the guys that I did pick. They're among the very best. Now, Sasan Haradi, he has some good teardrops there in the quads, and I actually used him. So his wheels and good Vito combination. And that is your front double biceps pose, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, we'll have a little comparison with your top 4 at the Olympia at the end of this one. Now go to the front lat spread. Wowzers. Pretty impressive. And I guess this is somewhat of a name that bodybuilder type video, isn't it? You guys at home trying to guess whose muscles these are? Now the torso heap itself, I used Hadi Choopan. I think you guys can tell that. And he does have the best lats, I believe, from the front and midsection as well. But the chest and the arms, I actually, once again, went with Behrouz Tabani. I looked at all of the chests, all of the arms, and you don't really need a great big giant set of arms for this pose. But I like the execution of it. I don't know, looks form-fitting as well. And obviously the legs are the same as the front double. Now, I did not select Andrew Jack at all. And I know some of you are thinking he probably has the best front lat spread. At the 2025 Mr. Olympia event, I would have to disagree with that comment. Certain versions of Andrew, yes, absolutely. Biggest, best lats, little unsymmetrical by times. But worth to mention, one of the better front lat spreads. So that is your second pose. That's your front. Now, turn to the side. Wow, look at those wheels. I think we all know whose those are. You know what I mean. But let's begin with the upper body. I went with an old favorite of mine anyway, Brandon Curry. He still knocks them out of the park. Still the best upper body, I think. Good delts, very aesthetically pleasing as well. It's not his midsection, though. Wonder why I selected a different midsection. His might even look better. Well, I went with the same midsection of the guy that belongs to the wheels. That is Neckzilla. Rubiel Mosquera. And he really did have a pretty good midsection with the little glimpse that you can see. I don't think it makes a whole heck of a difference. As long as we're using his quads, hamstrings, things of that nature, part of his glutes, part of his calves. You see, I used old Battling Bill Bonac. I am a firm believer that from the side, he does have better calves than Rubiel. I think I got criticized for that comment. At least one of you fellers. But don't you think his calves look better now? With Bonac's on there? I think he does. It's not a he. It's just a computerized image, a collage. Here is the side tricep. And I'm going to get criticized for this one for sure. This is simply Rubiel Mosquera with Urz's face. And some you guys will call me lazy for doing that. But I really think that he has the best side tricep out of the bunch. Look at the arm on him. Look at that arm. His delt looks a little bit different, doesn't it? It's Sasan's again. Sasan, he got used for those teardrops in the quads earlier. And now we're using his delts. So kudos to that bald man. Wow. So that's your side tricep. Take it for what it is. Good midsection too. There for Rubiel. And of course the legs, same thing. Combination between him and Bonac. Now, here is the back. This is the best back that I've ever seen. Well, maybe. I actually used the upper back, traps, delts, and the arms of Derek Lunsford. Hey, I had to use him for something. He's the champion, for goodness sakes. Used his glutes, too. Good set of glutes. Now, for the lower back, like the lower lat insertion area, used Hattie Shupin. Is there anybody else to use? I mean, this guy is incredible in that aspect. But, of course, a little weaker in the lower half, the legs. For that, I used Nick Walker. And this, I did not use this picture. This is the rear lat spread. And it's not a very clear shot of Nick Walker. That's why you can't use those type of pictures. Used his legs from the rear double, but you know what? They look a little bit more intricate, do they not? Obviously they're Derek's glutes, but look at the quads. The quads, how they bow out a little bit more, and those calves. You know who this is, right? Good Vito. Vitaly Ugolnikov. Once again, he gets used. Good hamstrings, too. Almost as good as Nick's. But not quite. So that is your rear lat spread. Now, here is your rear double biceps. Wow, what a standard. Obviously, the exact same lower half. Do not need to go over that. For the back, Nick Walker. Not all the way, though. You can definitely see it's Nick's arms, the upper traps, and the lower back itself. All Nick Walker. And somewhat the lats. I did pop on Derek's lat insertions, the attachments, but, you know, it's kind of a combination between him and Nick's back, with the lower traps for Derek and the upper traps for Nick Walker. But what a combination. I don't think that anybody would ever beat this. All of them. Well, maybe you, Coleman. Maybe you. Here is the abs and thigh. This will be the most controversial one, I am sure. Well, maybe along with the front lat spread. For the same reason, though, I did not use Andrew Jacked. As a whole, he is great. Maybe the best abs and thigh of the entire evening, or the entire roster, I should suggest. But I put his abs on there, and I found that Hattie Shupin was a little bit crisper in that area. So I used Hattie Shupin's abs. And for the upper body, I went with the same guy that belongs to the legs. I used Good Vito, Vitaly Ugolnikov once again. So that just goes to show you folks, and shows me how much potential Good Vito really has. And obviously you can see this side-by-side comparison. His abs nowhere near as chiseled. And look at his far quad there. Oh, yes, yes. I used Hattie Shupin's teardrop for that. Just a little extra sizzle to make this spice extra nice. I'm sorry. That's the abs and thigh. And this is the most muscular. Wow. Wow. This is simply Hattie Shupin's torso. You can see that. He has the best one. Maybe not the best chest in the side, chest pose, things of that nature. But from the front here, in this hands clasped, he is the man. Absolutely. Almost looks better than the made-up one. And Nick Walker, I had to use Nick Walker's arms. They're huge. You guys would expect me to use Nick Walker's arms. His delts are massive. Maybe lacking that separation. After all, this is a 2025 collage. So, what's a 2025 collage without a little bit of oil? If you know what I mean. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your 8 mandatory poses, dare I say. And I'll run through these very quick. I know you guys got stuff to do. Run through these mandatory shots. I think this collage, this ultimate bodybuilder, would destroy every one of the top 4 in the front double. Not only that, but would defeat them all in the front lat spread. Andrew Jack included. And you can see that. And that handsome face, oh, turn to the side here. That handsome face of Urs. Like my wife said, okay, I admit, it was me. It was me. She agreed. But having said that, here's the side tricep. From the side, I think that's the worst beatings because of Rubiel's great big quads. Very impressive. Now is my ultimate bodybuilder winning from the back? I think yes. I think ultimately. Now, I made him the same height as Urs because that's his head. He has to have Urs's head height, right? Them's are the rules. And the rear double biceps. Same thing here. You see, Nick Walker, he would have dominated in this pose anyway. I think he would have beat out all these guys just using Nick Walker, let alone this big conglomeration. And in the abs and thigh, I don't know. Andrew Jack looks pretty good. Even Hattie Shupin, even though we're using his abs, he still might get this guy, this imaginary Urs Kalasinski mock-up. And that's it, folks. That's your most muscular. And I don't know, maybe Hattie Shupin, I think I could have did a little bit better of a job. Nick Walker, as good as his arms are, they just stick out a little bit too much. Like I said, maybe slightly suspect in that region, in that area. So that's it, folks, folkettes. Everybody that enjoyed this one, thank you very much for taking the time to look at the ultimate bodybuilder using the 2025 roster. And here's a little bit of a thought, and I know this might be somewhat negative of an idea, but would you guys like to see all of the worst body parts put together? The ultimate bodybuilder? I guess it wouldn't be called ultimate bodybuilder, would it? The Maxima? No. The Micra. I'm just naming Nissan names. Is that something you guys want to see? Bodybuilders wouldn't like me very much, but you guys probably would enjoy it. Have a great one, folks.